Hi ladies, this is Shirley with Club Afia. You will remember that Club Afia is the club for women where there are no borders, and that there are no borders at Club Afia because we intentionally reach out to women everywhere. Every country, every city, every town, every village, every street. Intentionally, deliberately crossing borders and building community with women all over the world. Today is day number 21 of my 30-day seed challenge. 21. It has been such a transformative and an opening experience. I can't think of a better word. It has opened up so much that I had neither intended nor expected, quite frankly. But I am amazed, and I'm excited to see where this will end up, where it will lead. In over the last couple of days, I've been going through some files on my computer. I got a new laptop, and so I've been moving files around, and I came across some files, some video footage from some time I spent in China in 2012, 2013, doing some work at CS University, working with young women in doing leadership training and women's issues training at CS University, and I found one. I found a piece of one. I found pieces of video. And there's one that speaks about legacy. There is one with me. And actually, I'm wearing the same dress. That's why I put this dress on. I still have it, and it still fits. But there is me having a conversation with these young people. And there were girls and boys, young women and young men, about the importance of legacy. And I started by telling my own legacy, where I come from. And I was intentional about going right into our history because there are very few places in the world now where there's not interchange and exchange and blending of peoples. And the Caribbean is one of those places where we are a blended people. I don't know what to tell you. And so I spoke about the blend. The peoples who came to Montserrat and the people whom I can trace through my ancestral lines, my mother and my father. And actually was a little bit of not a shock, but it was a little bit of I was surprised. I had not remembered that I had gone into so much detail. But I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to add it to this video because the important thing is the idea of legacy, what we are creating, who we are being in the world. And these last few months, when we've many of us have spent some time thinking about legacy and where we go and who we are and what happens, with the coronavirus taking lives at such a rate, we could have been gone before you could blink. And so the question that came up for me and came up for many of my friends and the people I work with was I ready? What if, had that been me, were this to catch me, what would I have left? It's an important question. It's a question that we need to always be thinking of. And we often don't because, we we prefer not to think about not being here. We prefer not to think about dying. We prefer not to think about leaving. And even when we are practical and pragmatic and we've made wills, for example, we still are hesitant to discuss leaving this world, many of us. And so the idea of legacy, what you leave, often is a conversation we fail to have. But many of us have had to think about it in these last few months because especially those of us living in those larger countries and those heavily populated cities where the probability of getting infected probabilities were so high. We've had to think about, oh my God, suppose I were to get sick tomorrow and be dead by next week. Am I ready? Have I done enough with my life? Have I given enough to this world? Have I given enough of me? What do I leave behind? What thing of value have I put into the world? And that's what legacy is. What you leave, what you create in the world, using what you came with and what you found, and leave to improve, beautify, simplify the lives of other people. That's what legacy is. And so I was quite excited and amazed and actually taken aback at the piece of the conversation. I'm not playing the whole video. I'm just playing the piece where I say I come to you from this little island of Montserrat, and I talk about end with it's about 3 minutes where I talk about legacy.
的时候，一定一直在跟大家强调，就是说在周六大家做展示的时候，一定要准备得很充分。像这种情况是不允许发生的。那么这个也所以也可以作为对大家一种教训。
So, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Shirley Osborne. I come to you from an island in the Caribbean Sea, an island called Montserrat, which would be that one right there. Wow. It's an island this big.
首先我想跟大家介绍一下我自己，我叫 Shirley， 我是来自加勒比海上一个小岛，就刚刚给大家指示的那个就是蒙特萨拉特岛。
That's where I was born, that's where I grew up, that's where I went to school for most of my school years.
我在那里出生，并且那个我大学我学业的大部分时间都是在这个岛上完成的。
I also come to you from an island in the in the English Channel. I come to you from Ireland, a place called Galway.
我也是从英吉利海峡一个岛上叫做爱尔兰岛而来，就是刚刚给大家指的那个位置。
That's where my father's people came from. In 1600 and something, they came to the islands.
就是我的那个父亲的这些前辈们都是从那里过来的，就是在17世纪的时候。
I also come to you from a continent between two oceans, from Africa. That's where my mother's people came from, 1600 and something.
我也是从这个两大洋中间的这个非洲而来，就是我的母亲是来自于那里的。
I also come to you most recently from the United States of America, from a desert in the United States of America, in Arizona.
最近我是从那个美国这个沙漠亚利桑那州而来。
Me, I am the legacy that my parents and my country are leaving to the world. This is my father, that's my mother.
我是我的父母和我的国家留给世界的一种馈赠和礼物。然后这个照片，一个是我的父亲，一个是我的母亲。
That is Montserrat by satellite.
这个是从卫星上看到的蒙特萨拉特岛的照片。
Because I am legacy, everything I do, every day, in everything I do, I am building my legacy. I am building on the legacy that my parents left me. I'm building on the legacy that I am going to leave to the world. I had a wonderful time in China. There were some wonderful, wonderful young men and young women who were beginning to find their way in the world and ask questions about the world and ask questions about themselves and their country and what they could contribute and how they could improve their country, their towns, the world itself, and what their contribution would be, you know, how to go out into the world and leave a worthwhile contribution, a solid legacy. It's a good question. It's something worth thinking about. Legacy is something worth thinking seriously about and something worth getting to work on, like right now. So here's a question for you. What is your legacy? Is your legacy ready? That's probably not the right question, but you can't wait. Can we wait to prepare a legacy? Do we have to be 50 or 60 or 80 years old or whatever before we can start thinking about legacy? Or should we not be living every day as if this were our legacy? So that whenever we leave, we are leaving something valuable. At any point in our lives that we leave this earth, we are leaving something valuable. I believe that's how it should be. I believe that's how it should be. And I want to ask you to think about this. Think about what your legacy is. Think about, were you to have to leave this world right now, would your legacy be ready? Is your legacy ready? And if not, why not? Because we should always be adding to our legacy, the legacy should be there, and then each day, each week, each month, each year, we add to it. You don't wait until we are whatever age to start our legacy. My wish for you is that you create a powerful, beautiful legacy. That you live your life as if you are adding to your legacy every single day. Don't wait to create a legacy. Be working on it every single day of your life. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my 30-day challenge. Tomorrow is day number 22, and we're moving close to 30. We're moving close to 30, and I'm excited to see what happens, how I feel, what I think I would have accomplished by the time I get to day number 30. Take good care of yourselves. I'll talk to you tomorrow, day number 22.